Yo! What's going on, everybody? You're watching Giants Now by Chat Sports. I am your host, Marshall Green, and boy, oh boy, do we have a good one in store for all of the real ones. We'll be talking about the latest news and rumors that surround this football team. We're going to be going through a 7-round mock draft, but the segment that I am most excited to talk about in today's video is that the New York Giants, according to Ryan Dunleavy, who works for the New York Post, in my opinion, one of the more tapped-in Giants beat reporters, he believes the Giants are still trying to trade up 2 to 3 spots in the NFL draft to select J.J. McCarthy. It's also funny. Jordan Renan last week said that Jaden Daniels is the guy for the Giants. And also last week, Ralph Vacchiano, longtime beat reporter for the Giants, now covers the NFC East as a whole for Fox Sports. He said the Giants guy is Drake May. So we have 3 different beat reporters with 3 different quarterbacks that are allegedly the Giants guy. Welcome to the smoke screen, ladies and gentlemen. We are about a week and a half away from round 1 of the 2024 NFL Draft being kicked off, and every single Giants beat reporter is spewing something different than every single one. What does that tell me? Joe Schoen is doing a hell of a job, and I also think a hell of a job of providing a smoke screen and hiding his cards and keeping them close to the vest. But what this also tells me is Joe Schoen, he's finding rats. He's finding moles. He is finding people in his operation that are providing these leaks. How else are these people hearing about him? They're hearing about him from inside the Giants organization, which tells me, Patrick Seatman, there may be 1 or there may be 2 people who actually know who the Giants want to draft. And it's Joe Schoen and it's Brian Dable. Yeah, I don't even think everyone else in the Giants room knows.
And I think that's how you should be handling it. Like, report comes out 2 weeks before the draft, report comes out a week before the draft. Just get a bunch of names in there. But, yeah, I'm very excited to see where the Giants go with this draft. And also, you were saying you're excited about your segment about JJ. I'm also excited about your mock draft segment because I think Giants fans are sleeping on the fact that a certain Ohio State receiver may more likely than not be wearing the blue next year.
We will talk about Maserati Marv potentially being a Giant. But there were talks when Dave Gettleman was the general manager of the Giants that there were leaks in the operation when it came to the Giants front office. And Joe Schoen was a guy that was going to come in and get those out of there. And there's no easier way to find out who the leaks are. Let's say like this. I'm GM. I have a scout in Patrick Seatman, I have a scout in Roley, and I have a scout in Coop. I'm telling Seeps we love J.J. McCarthy, I'm telling Coop I love Drake May, and I'm telling Roley I love Jaden Daniels. Right. If I then find out that report comes out, I know who said it.
Yeah.
And then you're fired.
Yeah.
And then you're fired.
Just sniffing the rats out of the Giants front office.
Put the cheese out, set the trap, and you're going to tell on yourself.
I actually never thought about that. That's a very interesting part of this.
There are leaks everywhere through the operation, and I am excited to talk through it on today's video. I first want to ask this question, as we have 170 people in the chat. What is your confidence level in Joe Schoen as the general manager of this football team to get this once proud organization back on track to being a top of the National Football League? Scale it from 1 to 10, 1 being you're not confident, 10 you are extremely confident. We're entering draft number 3. We've already gone through free agency number 3.
Yep.
Time is now. Time is now. We got some 7s. We got some 8s. My guy Mike G in the building. What's up, Mike G? Royal Ron in the building. What's up, Big Ron? Haven't seen my guy in the chat in a while. What's up, my dude? Eric Cruz in the building. Eric Cruz, he's a showstopper. He says 10. I'm not going to go 10, but I'm still at a solid 7. I think just the fact that the Giants overachieved so much in year 1 gave a false sense of reality to how this organization and this new regime was going to have to build this thing from the ground up. That win against the Vikings, I think, gave you a rush of dopamine that maybe we are ready to compete, and we weren't. And that kind of became the case in year 2. And look, if you just flip-flop year 1 and year 2, Giants would be right on track.
Yep.
Let's just compete in the NFC East this year. That's my goal. Play some meaningful football games in January, and let's roll. I will say this, though. It's time for Joe Schoen to hit on a late day 3 pick. I know he did it with Micah McFadden, fifth round. That was a good pick, but it's time for him to hit one out of the park. Maybe you get a corner, maybe you find a receiver, maybe an offensive lineman. We need to look back at this time next year and be like, Giants GM Joe Schoen hit a home run with this selection. Who will it be? We'll try to figure that out in today's video. As Ryan Liskowitz coming in with a $2 super chat. What's up, Ryan? In what scenario are you trading down? Me or the Giants? A little bit different. A spot that if the first 5 picks unfolded with Caleb Williams, Drake May, Jaden Daniels, Marvin Harrison Jr., and Malik Neighbors off the board in the top 5, I would entertain a trade down idea. I would be totally fine if you selected Rome Odunze, but I believe the Giants would select J.J. McCarthy in that spot.
So if you had the opportunity, Joe Alt, take him at 6, or you take the Vikings 11 or 23 pick. What are you taking?
Joe Alt at 6 or 11 and 23. I would go Joe Alt because I think he is going to be wearing a gold jacket one day, but trying to jump into the mind of Joe Schoen, I think that he would trade down just to get more picks and have more darts to throw at the dartboard. We did a mock draft that came out yesterday on the channel of a trade down situation where I did trade down with the Vikings from 11 to 23, and you walked away with, in my opinion, the best corner in this draft class and one of the more higher ceiling receivers in A.D. Mitchell and Quinion Mitchell. I loved both those picks, but that's a spot, Ryan, where I would entertain one. I don't necessarily think the Giants are going to trade down because if Malik Neighbors on the board at 6, they're going to pick him. Yeah. If Marvin Harrison's on the board at 6, they will pick him. If Drake May, if J.J. McCarthy, if Jaden Daniels at the board at 6, they will make that pick. But
we're at the point where who knows?
We're not the only team that's being smoke screened.
There's almost too many smoke screens right now. Throughout the whole NFL land.
When you talk about the draft this often, every single day, you got to come up with new storylines, and that's what these big J's are doing. We are going to get to a mailbag coming up around the corner. That'll be the way that we close today's show. But we got 190 people watching, only 50 likes. If you could, please hit that thumbs up icon for me. And we also have a new super chat idea here on the show. As we are entering somewhat, as I would say, the dog days of the NFL offseason with the draft happening. And 2 weeks from now, the draft will be over. We'll be looking for content at all sorts of time. New rule here on New York Giants Now for the rest of the offseason. If you send in $100 super chat, you get to pick what you want us to talk about on a show. So if you send $100 super chat in and it's like, hey, I want you to break down every single wide receiver on the Giants and how they're going to do this year, we will do a whole video on the channel about that. So if you want us to make a video on a topic you are interested in, you send in $100 super chat and we will do an entire video on the channel about whatever topic you want us to do that about. So new $100 super chat idea there. Maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. But I feel like if I were someone that religiously watched a channel like you guys did, I would sometimes want to have a say-so on what I am hearing about. So that will be that. If you are able to send an $100 super chat and you want to support the channel and you want us to talk about a certain topic, send it in and we will do a video on that within the week. Within the week is what we will do. Bronx Boy says, careful with that. If I get Danny McGrath in here, I can make him talk about some really weird stuff. Yeah, I think it goes without saying that it needs to somewhat be Giants related. Giants related of some sort. Also, we did lose our super chat battle last week. Seeps wasn't here, but we were tasked with going up against the Cowboys Report and Eagles Now we were unable to do it. But my guy T-Rex, don't know if he's watching. I'm sure he'll be watching at some point. My guy T-Rex sent in a $50 super thanks after the video ended to try to help us catch up. And for that, my guy T-Rex, if you're watching, I'm putting a sticker on the hard hat for you, man. A $50 super thanks. That is the largest super thanks in Giants Now history. So for me, to everybody here at Chat Sports, T-Rex, we just want to say thank you, my brother. So I'm putting a little TR on this sticker, and it's going on the hard hat.
Shout out to T-Rex. Let's go.
He said, I may have not caught it live, but I'm going to do what I can to potentially help Giants Now take down Eagles Now in the Cowboys report.
Just being a real one.
Just being a real one. Just being. Can I get actually everybody to just type T-Rex in the chat right now? Can everybody type T-Rex in the chat? Make him feel the love. That was very, very nice and kind to him. So I appreciate him for that. If you are wondering how to get in on the hard hat, or this isn't a hard hat, we used to do a hard hat. You send in a $50 super chat, you get your initials here on the helmet.
J Sports card? I think so, but we obviously, we have no idea until this draft comes around. But I would assume yes.
Mr. Rick says, never was an NBA fan, but now I'm obsessed with the Knicks. Thanks, Martian Seeps, I think.
I don't know if you want to thank us for that.
I promise you nothing but heartbreak will come. Nothing but heartbreak and stress will come from that, Mr. Rick. But I am glad to have you on our voyage as the Knicks enter the playoffs.
I kind of feel like the drug dealer that kind of got Mr. Rick hooked on the Knicks juice, and now he's not going to be able to turn back. You're locked in. So got Bronx Boy in the chat.
Rob Rod just texted me. We never lost. We never lost a super chat battle when Rob Rod was in the build. He just texted me, said, wait, we lost a super chat battle to Eagles and Cowboys? He said I gotta come around some more. Yeah, well, one, we just want you in the chat, brother. We want you in the chat. We love your commentary. We love the love that you're always showing. But yeah,
it's kind of like the Knicks playing without Brunson.
It was
a little bit. You got your arm tied behind your back a little bit, but
I will say with complete honesty, I was embarrassed when I walked back into the office and Chase Sr. and his Eagles crew and Tom Downey were laughing at me. But you know what? I've got shoulders big enough to wear that.
See us on draft night.
See us on draft night. How about that? See us on draft night. How about that?
We'll wipe the floor with y'all.
My man. Make sure you have hit that thumbs up icon. 170 people watching, only 75 likes. Let's get to 100 likes. Please, please, please hit that thumbs up icon. And if you want to be featured on the mailbag coming up in about 30 minutes or so, hashtag Giants in the comments or super chat. All super chats will be on the channel. As my brother, Jamie Anderson in the chat. What's going on, Jamie? Longtime supporter of this show. Longtime supporter of me. Jamie, one of the first subscribers I remember on this channel. Great to see you. Hope you're having a good Monday. I love seeing people in the chat that have been here for over 2+ years now. That means we're doing something all right. Jamie, good to frickin' see you. Like the stream for me. 21 likes away from 100 likes. It would mean a lot to the ladies and gents here at Chat Sports. But without further ado, let's jump into a new 7-round mock draft. This will be my second to last mock draft. I will be doing another mock draft on Wednesday of next week prior to the draft. So you get this 7-round mock draft, and then you get next week's 7-round mock draft. And that is it. So hit the thumbs up icon, and let's get into it. What's going on, everybody? You're watching Giants Now by Chat Sports. I am your host, Marshall Green. We are about a week and a half away from the 2024 NFL Draft being kicked off and finding out who Joe Schoen is going to add to this football team. We'll be going through a 7-round mock draft here on the channel. This is my second to last mock draft I will do before Thursday's day 1. I'll do another one on Wednesday before the draft. But I'm excited to dive into this one, and I am ready for the NFL Draft. If you are ready for the NFL Draft, hit that thumbs up icon for me because I am ready. Let's just dive straight into it. With the first pick in this mock draft using the Pro Football Focus simulator, Caleb Williams goes number 1 overall to the Chicago Bears. I think you can write that in permanent ink. I also think you can do the same with Jaden Daniels going to the Washington Commanders. And I also think you can do that with Drake May going to the New England Patriots. I think the first 3 picks are set in stone at this point. I think it'll be Caleb, Jaden, and Drake, and then the draft starts at pick number 4 with the Arizona Cardinals. And I also believe you can write this one in pencil, may need to erase it, but I think it is more likely than not that if the first 3 picks are Williams, Daniels, and May, the Minnesota Vikings are going to trade up with the Arizona Cardinals to select J.J. McCarthy, giving up their number 11 pick, their number 23 pick, and a future first-round pick. Too much of a price for me to match to select J.J. McCarthy. And then the Los Angeles Chargers are on the clock. And I know a lot of people are going to be like, well, they're taking Marvin Harrison Jr. Harbaugh played against him for 2 years in college. Maybe, but everywhere that Harbaugh has gone as a football coach, he has placed a high priority on the offensive line, whether it be Stanford, whether it be the Niners, whether it be Michigan, and now the Los Angeles Chargers. This situation where it goes QB, 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 and Joe Alt number 5 feels very, very likely. May the Giants need to trade up to number 5 to secure Maserati Marv? Maybe. But you know what? Joe Alt went number 5 in my mock draft. And with me sitting in the seat of general manager Joe Schoen, with the number 6 pick in this New York Giants mock draft, Marshall Green is selecting do-it-all wide receiver, best wide receiver prospect since Larry Fitzgerald, Marvin Harrison Jr., wide receiver, Ohio State. This is my number 2 dream scenario for the New York Giants. My number 1 dream scenario is trading up and finding a way to select Drake May. After that, there's no player I want more in this draft on this football team for the next 10 years than Maserati Marv. And I don't understand if, I don't think anyone will disagree with that. Special, special player. He is like if you created a wide receiver in a lab. 6'4", perfect size. Underrated long speed, in my opinion. He has more explosive plays than Malik Neighbors over the last 2 years, and people talk about him as the most explosive player to enter the first round since Jamar Chase. Well, in 2022, Marvin Harrison Jr. had 16.4 yards per catch, and then in 2023 at 18.1 yards per catch. 28 touchdowns over the last 2 seasons. He is a special, special receiver, and I'm going to go as far as to say this. He is a top 15 wide receiver walking this earth right now. I truly believe that. And that counts for anybody that is alive with a pulse. He is a top 15 wide receiver on this earth, and he's number 2 on my big board and the number 2 player in this draft class. I have Caleb Williams, number 1. I have Marvin Harrison, 2. I have Joe Alt, 3. If I had to bet my life savings on any 3 players being great, it is those 3 guys. So the Giants, maybe their number 1 need outside of quarterback is wide receiver, and you get the best wide receiver in this draft class. And I think that immediately changes life for this offense and the future of this wide receiver core. You pair together Marvin Harrison Jr. with a guy like Wan'Dale Robinson and Jalen Hyatt, Darius Slayton, you might actually be cooking with a little bit of grease right now. Let's jump to pick number 47 in round 2. In this one, I was shocked he was still on the board. Will he be on the board in real life? I don't know. But he was when I ran this PFF mock, and I am selecting cornerback Kool-Aid McKinstry with the 47th pick in the 2024 NFL Draft. First off, first team all name, no doubt about it. His grandmother said that he had a Kool-Aid-like smile, and that's why they call him Kool-Aid. This is a guy that was once projected to go top 10, then top 15, then top 20, and now he seems to be falling. And the Giants have held a top 30 visit with Kool-Aid McKinstry. The Giants are also under Joe Schoen known to be selecting players that in the mid-rounds that they have had in on top 30 visits. The reason that McKinstry is falling is he had a little bit of a foot issue pop up at the NFL Combine. Not ideal by any sort, so he didn't test, but he did run at his pro day down in Alabama, and he ran a 4.47 with a potential Jones fracture in his foot. 5'11", 199 pounds. He is a special, special cover guy. Not an elite athlete by any means. only rated as in the 75th percentile for corners, but I'll take it. 5'11", nearly 200 pounds, runs a 4.4, comes from Alabama. He is a really, really good player. I'm a fan of what he can do. The foot issue scares me a little bit, but I'm willing to potentially get a top 5 corner in this draft in the second round. I like everything about his game. He's physical. He's athletic. I think he plays with great instincts. He can be sticky in coverage at times. Needs to continue to get better. But man, oh man, if you could walk away with Maserati Marv and Kool-Aid McKinstry in round 1 and 2, you may just be the winners after that. So you look at this corner room, and I think we all know at this point the Giants need to go out and make it a priority to draft a corner early in the draft. We all love Deonte Banks, had his ups and downs as a rookie. I'm still all in on him as a prospect, and I believe he's going to be a good player for a long, long time. But after that, I have nothing but question marks when it comes to this cornerback depth chart. I like Nick McLeod, but I don't want him as my starting boundary corner. I like Cordell Flott, but the only thing he's really proved consistently in 2 years in the NFL after being a third-round pick at LSU is he's not ready to be a full-time slot. Maybe that changes. Trey Hawkins showed me he wasn't ready for the bright lights. Aaron Robinson hasn't played in 2 years. Darnay Holmes was also almost cut last year. You brought it back on a 1-year veteran minimum deal to play in the slot. You need another outside corner to take some pressure off Deonte Banks. And if you got Banks and Kool-Aid, that's a good building block for that position. My question to you is this before we get to the third round. What is a bigger need for the Giants? Is it corner or is it wide receiver? You picked a corner in round 1 last year, and you picked a corner in round 3 2 years ago. You picked a receiver in round 2 2 years ago, and you picked a receiver in round 3 last year. Let me know, CB or wide receiver, bigger need for this football team. Still a big need for this team is in the trenches. And I am going there, and I am going to continue to put talented players in this room for the Giants. With the 70th pick, I am selecting interior offensive lineman Christian Haynes out of UConn. A lot of people talk about him as potentially the best interior offensive lineman in this draft. I'm not sure if he'll be there at number 70. He was in my my PFF mock simulation. And if he is, I am running up to the podium. I am handing in the draft card, and I'm going to pop champagne in the Giants' war room. Played in 12 games last year and allowed just 1 sack. He was one of the better testing interior offensive linemen at the NFL draft. He is a great athlete, and I think that is going to help in this type of offense. Graded out as an 80.2 overall last year. Allowed just 1 QB hit, 1 sack allowed, 10 hurries, 4 penalties. I like him as a player, and I think it would make a lot of sense for the Giants to make it a priority to continue to add talented football players to this Giants offensive line depth chart. I know you went out and signed John Runyon, 3 years, $30 million. You signed Jermaine Illuminor to a 2-year deal. You still have Evan Neal. You signed Aaron Stinney. You signed Austin Schlottman. You made some moves, but we still don't have a right tackle. And if Evan Neal struggles, you bounce Illuminor out to right tackle, and then Christian Haynes can slot in at right guard. And then you have an offensive line that I think would be in the top half of the NFL. We are all hoping that Evan Neal can do anything better than what he's done so far. They need him to be productive, but I'm not putting any stock into that. I told you guys 4 months ago, I will not only make one investment at right tackle. They signed Illuminor, potentially could play there. I'm going to draft Christian Haynes. That way, if Neal struggles, he's benched after 2 games, Illuminor bounces out, and you have your starting right guard of the future in Christian Haynes. We'll get to more draft picks coming up around the corner, but first, I got to give a huge shout out to today's sponsor, Prize Picks. Go to prizepicks.com/CLNS and use that promo code CLNS. And Prize Picks, the #1 daily fantasy sports app, will match your first deposit up to $100. It's daily fantasy sports made easy. All you do is create a lineup of 2 to 6 players and simply choose more or less on their projected stats. They've already got some season-long totals in there for the Giants. Check those out. But you should get started playing now with the NBA playoffs around the corner. There's going to be games every single night for a couple of months, and I want you guys to enjoy it while turning your ball knowledge into some dollars. PrizePicks.com/CLNS, promo code CLNS. Support the show, support the sponsor. We love Prize Picks. We want to keep them around, and the only way we could do that is if you guys show love to Prize Picks. So pick more, pick less, play Prize Picks. With the 107th pick in this mock draft, the Giants are selecting Tyrone Tracy, running back out of Purdue. This isn't a player that we've talked a lot about on this channel, but I believe the Giants need to add more offensive weapons to this football team. And when you talk about offensive weapons, Tyrone Tracy fits that bill. He is a do-it-all running back. He's actually a running back that switched from being a wide receiver early on in his collegiate career to be a running back. So is he a little bit raw in that regard? Absolutely. But at 6'1", 210 pounds, and running a 4.4 40, which tested in the 87th percentile and the 97th percentile of all running backs, he is a special athlete. A 40-inch vertical, 97th percentile. His shuttle, 96th percentile. 3-cone drill, 96th percentile. Special athlete. Still learning how to play the running back position. As you see, he started his career at Iowa being a receiver. He reminds me of Cordero Patterson, where if you just give him the football and he finds a crease, he's going to be throwing up a peace sign down the sideline, dancing in the end zone. And with the new rules changing when it comes to special teams, he could be a long-term returner for you. I know you have Olszewski and you have McKenzie right now, but it never hurts having a couple of these guys in the cupboard to unleash them. Your running back room needs some help. No doubt about it. I like Singletary. I don't know if I want him being a bell cow for this team all the time. Brightwell, question mark. Eric Gray, 5th-round pick last year. I don't know if he's got it, so still a question mark. I like Ja'Shawn Corbin, but he's a UDFA, and I don't know the importance he will be placed. I know Dante Miller had some success before transferring to South Carolina. Still very much a question mark at this point. He was signed pretty much to a UDFA contract. So going out and getting a guy like Tracy, that is an athletic freak, that has receiving skills alongside home run hitting ability, I think it makes a lot of sense. We're going to stay on the offensive side of the ball, though, with pick 166 and add another playmaker. Kind of a theme here, right? I want to add more playmakers on offense because the Giants, they don't have a lot of those. They were one of the worst offenses in National Football League history last year. I'm going with Theo Johnson, the tight end out of Penn State, and he has been a winner, I would say, so far of the pre-draft process when it comes to his athletic ability. At 6'6", 264 pounds, only 34 catches for 341 yards last year, did have 7 TDs. He has dominated when it comes to pre-draft testing. Graded out in the 99th percentile. Crazy. At 6'6" plus, almost 260 pounds, he ran a 4.5 40. He had a vertical jump of 39.5. He had a short shuttle in the 92nd percentile. Also up the 10-yard split and the 20-yard split. Dynamic athlete. Still needs to learn how to play the tight end position a little bit, but when you're in this stage of the draft, pick 166, I like to bet on traits. I like to pick on upside and swing for the fences. And Theo Johnson could be a guy that could potentially be a down in, down out tight end one day in his NFL future thanks to his athletic ability. This is your tight end depth chart. Doesn't have much juice to it. I don't even think Darren Waller is going to be playing football next year. So I got some question marks about that. I like Daniel Bellinger. I don't know if he's ready to be a tight end one. I don't know if he has that in him. Maybe Theo Johnson's not there at 166. But you know what? He wasn't my mock draft, so I'm going to pick him. With the last pick in today's draft, I am selecting safety at Ole Miss, Dejon Anthony, a player that we have not talked about at all on this channel. But I like the upside. I like the athletic traits. And he's one of those guys, he plays like his hair is on fire. Is he the most technically sound? No. Is he great at any one thing? No. But the value for me matched up with need here. The Giants need to go out and add another safety. And I thought that Anthony is a 5th-round player, and I got him in the 6th round. So that is what I am going with right here. Didn't test all that well at the combine. 78th percentile or 70th percentile comes to the 40, only 4.55. But he's 6 foot, almost 200 pounds, 37-inch vertical. He's got some athletic ability, and I think the 3-cone shows that, grading out above the 81st percentile. And he's got a good quick twitch of a 1.6, 10-yard split, 82nd percentile there. Started his career with Liberty, but he made the transfer to go play for Ole Miss this last year. He forced 10 incompletions last year. 61 tackles, 2.5 tackles for loss, 8 PBUs, 3 interceptions. He's a downhill safety. He needs to become a little bit more technically sound when it comes to covering. But I like the idea of adding a safety like him to a room that, quite frankly, needs some help. I like Pennock. I like Belton after that. I'm not so sure. And we know that Shane Bowen likes to play with a lot of different safeties and DBs on the field. Ran dime coverage, 6 DBs on the field, more than 24% of the time, second most in the NFL. So you need versatile defensive players, and that's exactly what Dejon Anthony is. So here's my mock draft. Round 1, you get Marvin Harrison Jr. Kool-Aid McKinstry falls, maybe because of a little bit of an injury history, but I like the upside and I like the bet on talent. Christian Haynes in round 3. Pick 107, you find the running back out of Purdue, special player, former receiver, switching to RB, Tyrone Tracy, Theo Johnson, the athletic stud, and then Dejon Anthony to close it out at pick number 183. I want you to grade this mock draft for me. A, B, C, D, or F. Sound off in the comments. I was being, Marshall, no way some of these guys are going to be available. Well, blame the PFF simulator. Don't blame me. I would give this one a B+. I think that you matched up talent at need pretty well here. Maserati Marv almost makes this an A by himself. I like McKinstry. A little bit worried about the injury history. The only thing I didn't love, I don't know. I'll give it a B+. I didn't get to address the D tackle position. And that's it. That's one that I want to address. I would have liked to gotten a hog molly, as Dave Gettleman once say in round 2, but I didn't love any of the ones there, and McKinstry was too good to pass up. Haynes was higher on my board than any DT. I didn't get to go and get a big DT. So for that, I will give it a B+. If you want to yell at me about my mock draft, feel free to do so at Twitter as well as on Instagram. Hit me up over there, and let's go Big Blue. If I could change anything, it would be putting more of an importance on DT, but I don't know where I would have made that pick or I would have made it. So it's just the way the board fell out there.
You also can't address every single need. I thought that was great. You know who Kool-Aid reminds me of a lot is Brian Branch, like different types of players and everything, but like not that athletic, played at Bama, really productive there, kind of started falling, and then he comes on, the scene this year in the NFL. It's like, oh shit, that guy's a really effing good football player.
Yeah.
Shit, man, Kool-Aid and Marv, the first 2 picks.
Yeah, can't be too upset about that. Will he be there? I don't know. Giants held him on a top 30 visit. That tells me that if he's there, maybe the first pick of the second round, Giants could look to trade up and go get that. So
something about these tight ends coming out lately, I just trust them a lot more than I did like 5 years ago. Just in general about the tight end class.
Gabriel. No, he wasn't. Jane Daniels went number 2 to the Washington Commanders. Bruh, whatever. Rewind the video. Jay, what's up, man? Thank you for the $5 super chat. Says, is it possible for the Giants to acquire 2 picks in the first round? And if so, yeah, it is possible. You trade down with the Vikings in round 1.
Yeah.
Are they the only team that has 2 firsts?
Yeah.
So, yeah. You didn't do the same mock draft because Jane Daniels went number 2 in my mock draft.
Also, the odds have completely shifted. Daniels is now a pretty big favorite to go 2. Obviously, you don't want to look at the odds too much. But
who's been saying that for months? This guy. I have my reasons for that. I will not say those on air, but that is what I believe will happen. Acquire first-round picks. The only way is that you trade down with the Vikings. I did a mock draft on that, Jay, on Sunday. Check it out on the channel, brother. Check it up on the channel. If you're talking about trading into the first round, you're going to have to probably give up your second-round pick and maybe a future first. So that's that. As we got, hey, yo, John Dottie. My man John Dottie in the building. That's a Nick's Now real one right there.
John Dottie.
Marsh crusted analyzing. Who do you want the Giants to draft? Who don't you want them to pick? Any moves you're afraid they'll make?
Okay, dream pick at 6, nightmare dream at 6.
Dream pick at 6 would be Marvin Harrison Jr.
Okay.
I'm not going to say nightmare if it is J.J. McCarthy, but I do have my question marks about him. I like him as a player. I like him as a prospect. I just don't know if the Giants are in a spot where they're ready to bring in a quarterback and that guy succeed. Really, I don't have a nightmare pick in round one because if you get one of the 3 receivers, I'm cool with it.
Yeah.
If you get one of the 3 quarterbacks they're supposed to get there, cool. I'll be happy if they get McCarthy. I'll have my question marks about it. I can't see them doing anything else. If they take an offensive tackle not named Joe Alt, maybe that. A player I do want them to avoid, though, John Thotty, and this may be me just being, not in love with his testing, which probably isn't the way for it to happen. I don't like Keon Coleman.
I don't like Coleman either.
Too slow.
Reminds me of Quentin Johnson.
Yeah, he reminds me of Quentin Johnston. Reminds me of Kenny Galladay. I'm done with those type of receivers.
Keep it simple. Can you separate?
Yeah, can you separate? Can you get open? So I would say that. Keon Coleman, one player I'm not the biggest fan of.
Sick highlights, though. Like, that's the thing about Keon. Like,
even his contested catch rate, though, it's not like that great for a player like him. Yeah, can't draft Evan Neal again. Exactly. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. I really don't see any bad thing happening. I really don't. I don't see anything bad happening in round one. Too many good football players, and you're picking too early in the draft for something stupid to happen.
Great draft.
That's my guy, Mike G. What's up, Mike G? Marsh. Stat predictions for new guys like Singletary and Burns. Appreciate you and Seeps. I'm expecting Singletary to do what Singletary does. Have over 1,000 yards combined via rushing and receiving.
Yep.
Push for 6, 7, 8 touchdowns. And I want Burns to be a double-digit sack guy.
Oh, I think Burns is going to have a career year.
Yeah, give me double-digit sacks for Burns. And then for Singletary, 900 rushing yards, 300 receiving, 850, 800 rushing yards. More importantly, let me get 15 games played out of both these guys.
Yeah.
You get 15 games played out of them, you're going to be in a good spot. But yeah, I want Burns to be a double-digit sack guy playing next to Dexter Lawrence as well as Kayvon Thibodeau. Mike G back again with a $10 super chat. Shout to Mike. He says, 2-time Bang God, show Mike some love. I like the mock draft, Marsh, but the clear thing not addressed is QB. So we roll with DJ and QB in 2025 if he doesn't do well. I have come to the conclusion that if I am Joe Schoen, if I do not draft a quarterback in the top 6, I'm not drafting one at all.
Yeah.
If I'm not getting a quarterback, unless somehow Michael Penix falls to you at 47. If Penix is there on the board at 47, take him. Maybe the Giants try to trade up for Penix. If it's not one of the top 5 guys, I don't want him. That's kind of where I'm at. If it's not Penix, if it's not McCarthy, if it's not May, if it's not Daniels, if it's not Williams, I don't want him. And I love Rattler, but he's 25.
And you kind of got Rattler already.
Yeah, you got Drew Lock.
Drew Lock.
You got Drew Lock. And then I just addressed it. Like, I don't want the Giants, Mike G, to fall in the trap of you've got a leaky pipe. And your plumber can't fix it till Monday. But it's not the worst type of leak in the world. Like, it's leaking a little bit. You could wait till Monday. But you go out and you find a worse plumber to fix it for a worse price just because you needed a plumber. Like, just wait till Monday and let your guy come and fix it. In that instance, I'm saying wait till 2025. No reason to just pick one to pick one. Like, that's just where I'm at on that one. I don't know if that made all that much sense, but that's where I'm at. You don't just pick one to pick one. Talk about, like, the mid-round quarterbacks that have gone recently. Outside of Brock Purdy and Jalen Hurts, name one that's been good in the last 5 years.
Yeah.
I don't know of any. I don't know. The Bronx boy. My man, what's up, Brody? There is only one person I trust to do a mock draft before draft night because he's the luckiest man alive. E.O. Borjon.
And I'll add to that. Bronx boy is the last person I want. Turn in that draft card.
If I need a second place mock draft, I would
God.
call him.
The best Pippen of all time.
I commented on one of EO Board John's YouTube videos. I told him he's got a week. He's got a week. If he doesn't reach out to me in a week, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. As Edwin Quintero, $5 super chat. What's up, Brody? JPP vet minimum. Mentors KT in that. No.
He's got 10 fingers again.
Does he?
I don't know.
I don't know. I don't think. Look, I always love the idea of bringing in veterans that once played for the Giants. But JPP doesn't give you anything in between the white lines anymore. And if you are going to add players to this team, they need to be able to produce inside the white lines. And I'm not trying to disrespect him. I'm not trying to be mean. But that's just where I'm at on that. That is just where I am at on that. Edwin. Oh, he said that. I'm freaking dead. I don't know. Would it be cool? Would it be fun? Would I celebrate it? Yes. Is it necessary? Is it necessary? Is it necessary to drink my own urine? No, but it's sterile, and I like the taste. What movie? What movie? Anybody know? Anybody know? Connor Clifford, $20 super chat. Connor, thank you for the love. I appreciate it, man. What's going on? It says if we could pull Malik Neighbors for wide receiver, and at some point Blake Corum, I would be stoked. I'm kind of coming around on Blake Corum, but I think you just have to
tread lightly.
I think you just have to manage your expectations. You're not getting Michigan Blake Corum.
No.
But you are getting a guy that's an uber competitor, elite contact balance. I think he's got some of the best vision in this draft.
Great locker room guy, clearly.
Leader, captain.
Yeah.
Works hard, does all the right things.
Forget about Saquon really quickly.
I think him and Singletary would be a decent 1-2 punch, but I can't take him before. Earliest I would take him is round 3, and even for me there, that's a little bit of a reach. How about we take Patches O'Houlihan at 6? What do you think about that, TJ? What do you think about TJ? What about, what was the Pirate's name? Steve the Pirate? Steve the Pirate would be a hell of a slot corner. Hell of a slot corner. I like Corum's, Connor, Mr. Clifford. For me, he's a round 3 guy, and I think he goes round 2. But I see why everyone loves him. I do. I just think you got to know what you're getting. He's not a home run hitting back. He is 4 yards in a cloud of dust.
Yeah.
Run hard. Uber competitor. I think he's a great in between the tackles runner. I think he's got great vision. He's got a nose for the end zone.
It's like he is like one of the highest floors and lowest ceilings in this class.
Yeah. He reminds me of a less athletic Devontae Freeman. Was that his name? The guy from the Falcons?
Oh, yeah, Devontae. He was a dog.
Less athletic Devontae Freeman.
And also similar, he hit a wall really fast in his career.
Yeah.
Which could happen.
Kind of reminds me of him. Shout out to everybody in the good building. Who are your top 5 CBs in the draft, Marsh? I have it pulled up right here. I'll just read it off real quick. I have Quinyon Mitchell, number 1, then Terrion Arnold, and then Nate Wiggins, then Cooper DeJean, then Kool-Aid McKinstry. So Mitchell, Arnold, Wiggins, DeJean, McKinstry is my top 5. Then I got Mikey Sanders still at number 6. He's a slot corner, though. All righty. Which one? White Goodman? F White Goodman. Reminder, if you send in a $100 super chat, you get to pick a show that we will be doing on the channel. So if you want us to talk about a certain someone, want us to do a certain segment, want us to talk about some, you send in a $100 super chat, we'll be doing a video on whatever you want next week. Let's talk about some draft rumors, though, because we got some conflicting reports. Let's get into it. You're watching Giants Now by Chat Sports. I am your host, Marshall Green. Ryan Dunleavy of the New York Post said this on Twitter. I think the Giants will try to trade up 2 to 3 spots with eyes on J.J. McCarthy. There have been now 3 different beat reporters that cover this team that say the Giants have 3 different quarterbacks that are their guys. Conflicting rumors, and welcome to smokescreen season. We're talking about that around the corner, but let's start off the show with a question for all the real ones. Do you want J.J. McCarthy on the Giants? Type Y for yes, type N for no. Let me know what you think. Today's Giants Now video is presented by 8 Sleep. Go to 8sleep.com/chatsports and get $200 off plus free shipping. Invest in the rest that you deserve. We'll tell you more about our awesome sponsor, 8 Sleep, in a second, but let's dive into today's video. We're going to talk some quarterback prospects, and then we have some new top 30 visits we'll get to around the corner. But today's video, are the Giants, trying to trade up for J.J. McCarthy? We showed you the quote from Ryan Dunleavy of the New York Post just a second ago. I believe he's one of the more tapped-in Giants beat reporters. He was first on the Daniel Jones contract this time last year. He was plugged in with Saquon Barkley. So I'm not saying he's right. I'm not saying he's wrong. But his track history tells me that he at least knows somebody. For me, though, I am not trading up for J.J. McCarthy. If he's there at 6, I think the Giants will pick him, and I will be okay with that pick. But for me, if you're trading up for McCarthy, that means you're going to number 4 or number 5. And that means even Marvin Harrison Jr. or Malik Neighbors are still on the board. And I can't digest the idea of the Giants giving extra draft capital to not draft Harrison or Neighbors to simply trade up for J.J. McCarthy. Welcome to the final smoke screen, ladies and gentlemen. We're about a week away from the NFL draft. And now we have had 3 New York Giants beat reporters say, this is the Giants guy at quarterback. And I say this with all the respect to all these beat reporters. They do a hell of a job. But you can't all be right here. Someone's wrong. Maybe we're all wrong. I'm just sharing the information. Jordan Renan of ESPN put out an article last week saying that Jaden Daniels is the guy the Giants are interested in and that they want to trade for. Ryan Dunleavy literally said on Twitter yesterday he expects for the Giants to trade up for J.J. McCarthy. And Ralph Vacchiano, longtime Giants beat reporter, now works for Fox Sports and covers the NFC East as a whole, says that Drake May is the Giants beat reporter. And you know what? Let's clap it up. Clap it up for Joe Schoen. Because if you can convince 3 different beat reporters that 3 different quarterbacks are your guy, that means nobody in the NFL knows what you're going to do in the NFL draft. And that is exactly what you want to happen. I believe there's maybe 2 or 3 people that actually know what the Giants are going to do, and all of them work for the Giants. And one guy's name is Joe, and the other guy's name is Brian. I don't think that anybody actually knows what the hell the Giants are going to do. Maybe one of those guys will be right, but it's impossible to say all 3 are right. You want to find out how you have a leak in your operation? Put out a little cheese, and the rats will come coming. Pick a quarterback for me, though. Who do you want the Giants to trade up for or select? Is it Drake May? Is it J.J. McCarthy? Is it Jaden Daniels? Let me know. The quarterback you want to see as the face of the franchise for the New York Giants. My prediction of what is going to happen in round 1 for the Giants is no QB. I don't think the Giants are going to draft a quarterback in round 1. A lot of reason they should. A lot of reason to think that they will or might. But for me, people things I've read, people I've talked to, using my brain, being tapped in with this team, I don't know how it happens. I actually believe Malik Neighbors or Marvin Harrison Jr. is a Giant. I think it's one of those 2 guys. And if Neighbors is on the board and Harrison's not, it'll be Neighbors. If Harrison's on the board, it will be Harrison. That's what I believe the draft will unfold to be. And I'm hoping it is Marvin Harrison Jr. My number 2 dream situation for the Giants on draft night is for Marvin Harrison Jr. to be a Giant. And I don't think it's all that impossible with Caleb Williams going 1, Jane Daniels 2, Drake May 3, J.J. McCarthy going 4 to the Vikings in a trade, and then Joe Alt potentially going 5 to the Chargers who want to build the offensive line. So I think it's Harrison or I think it's Neighbors. If it's a quarterback, I'll say I'm wrong, and I'll be kind of happy I'm wrong because I want them to draft a quarterback. But you can't draft somebody that's not there. We are going to be live for day 1 of the NFL draft. And then it sounds like we may be live on day 2 or day 3, depending on how the participation is. We had a meeting here at Chat Sports, and I was told that we may not be going live on day 2 or day 3. So let's change it. Subscribe to the channel. More subs equals more videos. So subscribe and turn the notifications on. Coming up next, we did a video last week about some top 30 visits, but I think the people missed the boat on that because we also had a signing later in the day and they didn't get to see it. Pay attention to these top 30 visits. I'll tell you why around the corner. First, though, got to give a huge shout out to our presenting sponsor, 8 Sleep. Go to 8sleep.com/chatsports. Get $200 off plus free shipping. Invest in the rest that you deserve. 8 Sleep, ladies and gentlemen, has changed my life. I'm someone, even when it's 30 degrees outside, I need the fan on, and I still find a way to sweat. But that's no longer more. The pod cover will improve your sleep by automatically adjusting your bed's temperature based on your individual needs. The cover can be added to any bed like a fitted sheet and allows you and your partner to cool or warm your side of the bed as low as 55 degrees and up to 110 degrees. In addition to keeping you at the perfect temperature all night, the pod also tracks your sleep and health metrics. On average, pod users see their sleep quality improve by 32% after just a month on the pod. Invest in the rest that you deserve. Fix that age-old sleeping issue. Go to 8sleep.com/chatsports. That's 8sleep.com/chatsports and get $200 off plus free shipping on the pod cover by 8 Sleep. Get hooked up with them. I'll make sure all that information is clickable down in the comments. Support the show. Support the sponsor. Shout out to 8 Sleep. All righty, let's dive into the second half of this video. Every team gets to invite 30 players on top 30 official visits. That means they come to your facility. They pretty much, it's like a college recruiting trip almost. And I think that these mean a little bit more to the Giants than other teams. This is actually a list 5 if you want to pop that up real quick. In the 2022 NFL Draft, the Giants hosted all 5 of these players on top 30 visits. Kayvon Thibodeau, Evan Neal, Cordell Flott, Dane Belton, and DJ Davidson. You only get 30, and 5 of them were drafted. And then in 2023, you drafted 4 more players that went on these top 30 visits. Deonte Banks, John Michael Schmitz, Jalen Hyatt, and 6th-round corner out of Old Dominion, Trey Hawkins. So when you see who the Giants have had on these top 30 visits, I don't necessarily want you to focus on the first-round guys. Focus on the guys later in the draft because one of them will be a Giant. Some quarterbacks that have already had some top visits with the Giants, Drake May, Jane Daniels, J.J. McCarthy, and Michael Penix. What does this tell me? The Giants actually are fans of Michael Penix. At the receiver position, really offensive playmakers. You brought in Marvin Harrison Jr., you brought in Malik Neighbors, you brought in Roma Dunze, Ben Sinnott, tight end, who you had a top 30 visit with from Kansas State. Really the modern-day H-back is what I compare him to. And then you got Trey Benson, the running back from Florida State. What does this tell me? The Giants are probably drafting a receiver in the top 6 because they haven't invited any to a top 30 visit in the mid-rounds. On the offensive line, the Giants are also doing some homework, as I would like to say. Joe Alt has been on a top 30 visit. Cooper Beebe, mid-round offensive lineman. Matthew Jones, potentially a 6th, 7th, or undrafted free agent. And then Giovanni Manu, the left tackle for British Columbia. He's a UDFA. What does this tell me? If the draft ends and neither of these guys are picked up, Giants are going to be interested in signing them. Now to the defensive side of the ball. So people that play inside the box. Dallas Turner, Chop Robinson, Adisa Isaac, Mason Smith, Christian Boyd, and Tyrese Knight. I think Tyrese Knight is someone the Giants have a lot of interest in. He has stuffed the stat sheet in his college career. He's a day 3 guy, as is Boyd and Smith, with Isaac and Robinson being day 2 targets. And then in the defensive backfield, Kool-Aid McKinstry, Andrew Phillips. Keep your eye on him. He may be the pick in the 2nd round, and if he gets to 70, he will be the pick. Chow Smith-Wade, day 3 guy. I can't pronounce his name. Chigozie Enumizium. Yeah, I know that wasn't right, so I'm just going to call him Mr. Chig. He is a day 3 target as well. This is a guy I'm keeping my eye on. I think he might just be the Giants' pick at the cornerback spot. We've gone through 23. There have been 23 top 30 visits for the Giants that I have heard of. If there are any more, I will make more videos about them. But outside of quarterback on this team, what is the biggest need? What is the biggest need for the Giants outside of quarterback? Let me know in the comment section. And make sure you are following me over on social media. I'm on IG. I'm on Twitter, @MarshallGreen_. Hit me up over there, and let's go Big Blue.
I saw that name come up, and I was like, there is no chance. That is a brutal name.
I'm hoping he's not a Giant, just so I don't have to say it.
Chigozie Enumizium. Yeah, that's tough. That's tough. RB wide receiver DB coming in from Leicester. If I had to call it, I want to say DB, but let's just say Banks pops. Then I'll still probably go DB. Still think DB for New York. Also, with that trade back option, where if they would get Quinyon Mitchell, him and Banks for the next couple of seasons would be special. If they both work.
And that makes Deonte Banks your CB2.
Yeah.
Because Quinyon Mitchell's the best corner in this draft class, in my opinion. Select him at 11. That lets Banks go be a CB2 and make life easier for him.
And especially with that division, the Eagles having 2 guys, Cowboys, assuming they're going to bring back Lamb and everything, you're going to need DBs.
Terry McLaurin, Jahan Dotson.
Just the NFC as a whole is just stacked.
And everybody's got good receivers except the Giants. That's where I'm at on that. That is where I am at.
We are going to be getting mailbag, so if you guys want to get your questions on screen, steer the ship a little bit, #Giants or Super Chat, or also $100 Super Chat today. You guys will pick an entire video on the channel, and Marshall will do it. It's a pretty cool idea. Actually, just curious to see what you guys got to come up with, and I think it'll be fun.
What does that mean? The way people think the most important position in football isn't the biggest need is mind-boggling. Are you saying quarterback? Quarterback is a need. You just like to yell at a wall in the chat. That's kind of why I just ignore you a little bit. Yeah. You also yell at yourself on Twitter as well. Okay, just because the quarterback is a need, you don't take. Who are they taking? Who are they taking? If no quarterbacks are there at 6, who are you taking? Penix at 6? What if Penix and Bo Nix aren't there at 47? Who are you taking? You can't just shit out a quarterback. You know how the Giants got in this problem, Seeps? They picked a quarterback at 6 that shouldn't have been fucking drafted.
Yeah.
So, you can't trade up if no one wants to trade down. Joe Schoen can't put a pistol to the GM of the Patriots and saying, do the deal.
Also, if the Giants want to, there are going to be teams that are going to be throwing a haul for moving up to 4 or 5, like the Minnesota Vikings. I think it's unlikely the Giants get one of the top 4 quarterbacks.
What? Fuck it, let's go get Caleb Williams.
Yeah, why not?
By that knowledge, let's go do it.
It's also, could you imagine? Let's just say the Giants trade up. Let's just say they trade up for May. Trade up with the Patriots. You give up 6 and 2 firsts for the next 2 years. And let's just say he doesn't work out. Then you go the DJ bad contract. Then you trade up for a quarterback that didn't work out. The Giants would legitimately put themselves behind the 8 ball for the next 5 seasons.
And I can promise you this: Joe Schoen has talked to Washington. Joe Schoen has talked to Chicago. Yep. Joe Schoen has talked to the Patriots. Joe Schoen has talked to the Cardinals. Joe Schoen has talked to the Chargers. If you don't think they are trying to trade up, wake the hell up and smell a coffee. But you know what? If Seeps doesn't want to give me his car, I can't make him sell it to me.
Yeah.
Like, it's ridiculous sometimes. It's ridiculous. You know who wants a quarterback? Me. So I'm tired of watching Daniel fucking Jones play football.
I want to get in a relationship with Sydney Sweeney. That'd be sweet. She's not available.
Lordy, lordy, lordy.
And it's also like
I love you guys and I love your passion, but let's.
It's also, you don't think we know quarterback's the most important position in all sports? I think every common fan, the dude who doesn't watch anything or doesn't pay attention to anything in the NFL knows that's the case.
I also sat here and said that I would think about trading Dexter Lawrence to get to the number 1 overall pick. So, ridiculous.
Yeah, I want to be 6'9". I want to be like. So now Gabriel's agreeing with us. Holy shit, it's Emily Dempsey. I haven't seen that name in a long time. What's up, Emily?
Emily Dempsey in the building.
That just throws it back to us yelling at the Giants down 40-0 against the Cowboys.
Because we were watching Daniel Jones play quarterback, but we don't think they need a new quarterback.
Gabe, I got you.
It's just ridiculous. Like, and whatever, I shouldn't even pay it mind.
Emily, I'll still never forget when we kicked you from the chat on accident.
Wrong, Emily.
That was fucking hilarious.
It made her change her profile picture to a Giants logo, so it never happens again.
I just can't imagine Emily just watching us, just having a good time, and it's just like, oh shit, I just got kicked from this chat.
Rob Simpy, what up, man? John Lieberman in the chat. That's a name I haven't seen in a while. What's going on, Mr. John?
Simpy.
Titan TV, man. Tom Saunders. That's my guy. What's up, Tom?
Made my day, though. Yeah, that's good.
Tommy41 Tommy says, coaching, play calling has to understand what players we have because of sabotage first time. There was no sabotage. You think the Giants lost games on purpose last year in the first half of the season?
Fellas, the Giants were tripping. Come on.
I don't know. I'm telling you right now, the first 3 picks of the draft will be this. And if I'm wrong, I will tell you I'm wrong. But if I'm right, I want to hear from you, Gabriel. I want to hear from you. It's going to be Drake May or Caleb Williams to the Bears. It's going to be Jaden Daniels to the Commanders. And it's going to be Drake May to the Patriots.
And also him saying, okay, let's just say the Patriots do trade down, and let's just say the Vikings get up there and they take Drake May at 3. Who says the Denver Broncos and Raiders, or a team that has a quarterback, isn't calling the Cardinals immediately and be like, yo, let me get J.J. McCarthy? Like, J.J. McCarthy is the 4th best quarterback in this class. Not my opinion, but a lot of people's opinion. And he's minus 300 to go top 5. Oh, my God. Johnson, I got terrible news. We're having network issues with Super Chats.
Gabriel, I appreciate you, but sometimes it's just a bit too much. It's a bit too much.
Johnson, you saying, hey, y'all, just turned 18, hoping we draft a quarterback. Happy birthday, J.U.
Happy birthday to Johnson U. He's 18 today. Everybody give me an HBD in the chat for Johnson U. And then Brian Combs says, what's going on with DJ's eyes? He got LASIK surgery from the same surgeon as Jameis Winston. So
he popped a bunch of Adderall before that interview.
I hope he looks at defenses with those eyes next year.
Just like this.
That brother stinks. I'm sorry. Daniel Jones stinks. I should have quote tweeted him like, damn, what do you know? Daniel Jones staring down his first read again. I mean, the interception he threw against the Seahawks at the goal line was like, God. I'm done.
Because that was the Witherspoon.
And the rookie after the game says, yeah, we knew he stares down his first reads. Game 5 of a rookie season for a corner. Crazy.
Oh, we're back, fellas.
Happy birthday, man. Hope, buy a scratch off. You are hilarious.
Rob!
Rob Jigger, my man. What's up, Brody? He says, legit question. If the Giants were to trade with the Vikings to get 2 first-round picks, wouldn't that screw up the salary cap in the future? Only way that would screw up the salary cap in the future is if both those players are $100 million players, and that's a great problem to have.
Yeah, I was going to say exactly.
That's a great problem to have. We got to stop looking at paying players as a bad thing. We got to stop doing it. I'm not saying you are, Rob, but the idea of having to pay a player is not a bad thing.
Yeah.
It's actually a good thing because that means they're good. And the Giants, they need more good football players. So.
And plus, that's 3 years down the line. Like, you're going to have other guys, like, I don't know.
5 years. They give 5-year deal. And if they're good, you're picking up their 5th-year options.
And with the salary cap, the NFL's booming right now. Personally, I don't think that's something even Joe Schoen's that thought even came across his head.
Yeah. I think Joe Schoen, if you present him this question, Rob, would say, we would love to have that problem.
Yeah.
We would love to have the problem where we draft Quinion Mitchell and A.D. Mitchell, and they're both top 5 players of their position. We both got to give them $100 million. Like, that would be awesome.
Yeah.
And we'd probably be winning some football games. Lumbagus, what's up, man? That's my bro. What's up, Lumbagus? Drew Lock down the field, finds Harrison, touchdown. It'll be like this. Lock takes the snap, drops back, looking left to right, fires deep, caught! Marvin Harrison Jr., touchdown, Giants! Let's go, Big Blue! Fuck you, Daniel Jones. That's how it sounds.
Yeah.
That's how it sounds. Something like that. Dude is special. I'm telling you guys. A lot of people, we've ran out of things to talk about, so now we're saying that Marvin Harrison Jr. isn't better than Malik Neighbors. It's a joke.
Oh, no, that is the biggest where it's like you're over-evaluating. We've known Marvin Harrison has been the best wide receiver since September in this class, and I think you just continuously go through the draft process. You're just going to get a bunch of guys there.
It's weird. Everyone tells me that Malik Neighbors is more explosive, so I went and looked it up. See, for some reason, Marvin Harrison Jr. has more explosive catches over the last 2 years.
It's also route. I mean, it's a different level with him.
Different receivers, but let's not act like Marvin Harrison Jr. isn't the best receiver in this class.
Yeah.
That would have been sick.
Yeah.
That would have been sick. And Thunder, really good point. My dad asked me the same thing this weekend when I saw him. Do I really think MJ is slipping for real? It's not slipping.
Yeah, it's just kind of how the board.
It's the way the draft's going to fall. Because if what would be slipping would be he is no longer the first wide receiver taken.
Yeah.
What it is 4 quarterbacks are going to go in the top 4, and then a team led by Harbaugh is going to select a different position. I don't necessarily think it's slipping. I don't think that's remotely the same. Look, if a team takes Marvin Harrison Jr. as behind Neighbors, then yeah, we could say he slipped, but it's not slipping.
Also, I promise you, Marvin Harrison will be the first receiver taken.
Yeah, I agree.
If you guys got a little extra money and want to go a little money laundering at like minus, I saw he's like minus 500 only to be the first receiver taken. If you got $500 to throw around, it would be the easiest 100 you ever make in your life.
Yeah. All right, we're going to close out today's show with a mailbag. If you want to be featured on the mailbag, hashtag Giants or Super Chat in the comments as Johnson U coming with $5 Super Chat.
We need this.
He says, Jones with the play action. Down the field to Harrison Jr., and it's picked off at the 50, 40, 30, 20, 10, 5. Touchdown. I know Johnson U's not saying this, but the new comment that has officially triggered me, which you guys will probably just say now to get me triggered, is, Marshall, we can't draft Marvin Harrison Jr. Who's throwing him the football? Yeah, let's not draft the Hall of Fame receiver because we don't yet have our franchise quarterback. I hate that logic.
I think he's top 10 in the world right now.
I hate that logic. That's like saying, Marshall, why are we buying a car? We don't even have a garage yet. No. You have a good deal, and it matches up. You picked a great player, man. And you know why? It'll be Daniel Jones throwing him the ball. You already are giving him $46 million this year. You know what Joe Schoen is hoping? Maybe if I can get Daniel Jones a little bit more protection and a little bit better receiver core, that contract doesn't look as bad.
Definitely.
And I can get some sort of production out of him because I've already paid him.
Exactly, Wade. It's on Street Park.
Exactly, brother.
Shout out to y'all. Appreciate y'all getting those questions in there.
All righty, hashtag Giants or Super Chat. We're up to $82 in Super Chats. We get to $150. I'm doing a beer shotgun. $150, I'm doing a beer shotgun. Well, now we're at $92 because Thunder coming in with a $10 Super Chat. What's up, man? Thank you for the love, brother. Always supporting this channel. Love seeing the chat. Says, love you guys. The show rocks. Marsh, tell me how you really feel about DJ. I think you're kind of laughing because I already did kind of tell you how I feel, but I'm sorry. Like, I don't need 6 years to know if my girlfriend's crazy. I don't need 6 years to know that I am 6 foot, 220 pounds, and not going to be playing in the NBA. I don't need 6 years to know that. I don't need 6 years to find anything out, to be quite frank. And the last person that needs 6 years to prove to me they can play quarterback is Daniel Jones. Is he a scrub? I don't think he's a scrub. Is he a top 20 starter? No. Is he someone that changes your franchise for the better? No. I don't need 6 years for that. I don't need 6 years. I don't need 6 years, 3 head coaches, 5 offensive coordinators, a $72 million receiver, and then a third-round pick for a tight end, and Saquon Barkley to prove that, no, he's just not the guy. And Seeps, you know what? If Daniel Jones did what he did to get them to the playoffs, and it's the same type of season, I don't want that guy as my quarterback. I want a game changer, a franchise elevator. I want a potential MVP at quarterback.
Always go back to the Cardinals. They took Josh Rosen at number 10. Next year later, they took Kyler Murray.
If the feeling that you have on your franchise quarterback is, I don't know if they can win a Super Bowl, they should not be your quarterback. Yeah. It is that simple.
If you're dating a girl and you don't think she can be your wife,
why are you dating her?
Don't date the girl.
You're going to be wasting money. Brian, at some point, you know what good football players do? You know what good athletes do? They rise above their circumstances. Jalen Brunson got 30 games from Julius Randle. He got 20 games from OG Anunoby. He got 30 games from Mitchell Robinson. Seeps, the starting lineup next to Jalen Brunson was Dante DiVincenzo, career bench player. Josh Hart, career bench player. Isaiah Hartenstein, career bench player. And he got him to the 2 seed. You know what good athletes do? It doesn't matter the sport. They rise above their circumstances. You can't always be a victim of your circumstances. Because, Seeps, if he was that good, if Daniel Jones was a franchise quarterback, we would at least be able to have seen it at some point. Yeah. He's Casper. I've never seen it. Except against the Vikings defense that had a defensive coordinator that has not been allowed back in the NFL.
Who won't be? It's Rob saying, when the Giants draft MHJ, if you were to get his jersey, which one would you get?
I would go home, just the blue.
Yeah.
I'm a blue. Giants are blue. They're not red. Giants are blue, not red. I would go blue. And if the Giants do draft Marvin Harrison Jr., I will be buying his jersey on draft day.
That'd be so tough. Does anyone wear 18?
I don't think so.
18 Harrison Jr. would go live. Then the 2 best receivers in the NFL potentially would be wearing 18. Hodgins, he gone.
Hodgins does wear 18.
Oh, wait, no, he came back. I forgot. Hodgins has to. And that's my guy.
So 1 is retired. Locke's wearing 2. Banks is wearing 3. Chase Cota. Oh, Kayvon Thibodeau wears 5. Is 7 retired? You could go 7. Do we have an 11 retired? Yeah, Phil Simms. Stupid Marsh. Yeah, Hodgins wears 18. It'll be interesting to see what number he wears. Yeah, I'm looking at it. You see here, no numbers are available. Yeah. 7 would be kind of fire. Receiver and 7. Also, Harrison Jr. is like a single-digit guy, I think. I know he wore 18 in college, but
he's a generational. He can wear whatever.
Cut DJ and give him 8.
This Vikings big Twitter guy said, I'm hearing that they just agreed to a deal with the Patriots. He also has predicted the last 4 picks for the Vikes. I don't know how likely that is, but
have agreed to a deal or have agreed to a deal if the board falls a certain way. Big difference there.
He says, breaking up told the Vikings do have an agreement with the New England Patriots to trade up to number 3, and they plan on selecting North Carolina quarterback Drake May. This guy's also kind of a fraud on Twitter at the same time, but
we'll see.
We'll see.
I mean, we should be getting a push note here pretty soon.
Yeah, I know. Well, he also tweeted that at 25 minutes ago.
Yeah, sounds so true. Marvin Harrison Jr., brother. Sorry for cussing. MHJ, guys. I'm not trying to sell you a pipe dream. I realistically think he is one of the more likely players to be selected at pick 6. It's going to go 4 QBs.
That's just whatever Harbaugh wants.
Only way it doesn't if the Vikings are actually trading up to 3 and then they're taking Drake May. And then maybe.
And then the Giants slide up to 4 and get JJ.
You just stick at 6. All right, we got a mailbag to close it out. Hashtag Giants or Super Chat. We're $53 away from a beer shotgun race between the boys. And reminder, if you send in a $100 Super Chat today, you get to pick the show idea that we will do on a future video. So let's get into it. You're watching Giants Now by Chat Sports. I am your host, Marshall Green. We are answering questions from subscribers in today's video on the latest news, rumors, draft targets, and so much more in today's video. If you did not get featured on the show, that means you're not subscribed. So change it. Hit that big red button and become one of the 47,000 strong we have on this channel. Jay Sports Card coming in with a question. What's up, my man? Would you be in on a Dunze? Roma Dunze is my number 3 wide receiver in this draft class. I got MHJ 1, Malik Neighbors 2. If Neighbors and MHJ are off the board at pick 6, yeah, I would take Roma Dunze. I think he's a good player. He is your outside receiver, can stretch the field vertically, very good at contested catches, has a really wide catch radius as well. He reminds me almost of a more athletic DeAndre Hopkins. I know that's a lot of praise. I'm not saying he is D-Hop, but just the way that he plays the game. Physical at the point of attack. Really strong hands, can catch the ball away from his body, and he puts a lot of pressure on DBs. Yeah, I would love a Dunze at 6, but a couple players I like ahead of him a little bit more. I like Harrison Jr., I like Neighbors, and I would take any quarterback probably above him. JJ or Dunze, I'd probably go JJ just because of the quarterback. But Dunze, I think, is in my top 8, 9 best players in this class. I'd be totally happy if he's a Giant at 6. Des Powell, biggest sleeper in the draft the Giants can select. For me, I'm going to go with Javon Baker. Javon Baker, wide receiver out of Central Florida. I'll just pull up his stats for all you on my computer so I could read him. He's projected to go 3rd round. I've seen him sometimes in the 2nd. I think he's a pick at potentially number 70. Like, say you get a quarterback in round 1 and you have to trade that round 2 pick and you're back on the board at 70. Javon Baker could be that guy. Last 2 years, he's been really good for UCF. 56 catches for 796 yards and 5 touchdowns in 2022, 14 yards per catch. But he took his game to another level this past year. 52 grabs, 1,139 yards, 21.9 yards per catch. He is a dynamic athlete, big play receiver, contested catches, really good after the catch. I like a guy like Javon Baker in round 3. Mark Anthony Osborne, what's up, man? That's my guy right here. What's up, bro? Should the Giants consider re-signing Adoree Jackson to a veteran minimum contract, given his difficulties in securing a spot with another team? It's a good question. He is a still free agent as we are recording this video on April 15th. Look, if he wants to play for a cheap one-year deal, Mark Anthony, yeah, I would roll with that. It's just the injuries for me with him. I think it's 3 years in a row he's missed games because of injuries. He didn't play all that well in the Don Wink Martindale defense. I think maybe he plays a little bit better in Shane Bowen's defense. I wonder if he was actually in Tennessee when Bowen was the D coordinator. Let me look real quick. I like Adoree Jackson. I think it makes some sense. He's a really good tackler as well, underrated in that department. But I can't offer anything more Mark Anthony in a one-year deal just because of those injuries. No, he was not in Tennessee. He was in Tennessee when Bowen was an outside linebacker coach, but Bowen became the DC in 2021, and Jackson played for the Giants in 2021. So there's some sort of relationship there, no doubt about it. But for me, I'm looking for somebody else at this point. But cheap one-year deal, wants to come back, not signed yet, not a lot of buyers. I'd do it. Nope, what up, man? With drafted a QB looking less likely every day, a wide receiver is seemingly the only other option. The cornerback, one more year of cross-eyed Danny. Yeah, for me, I don't think the Giants are going to get a quarterback in round 1. Could be wrong, but I don't think so. I think it's Marvin Harrison Jr. and Malik Neighbors at number 6 will be the pick. What's the bigger need for the Giants? Is it corner or is it wide receiver? You have Deonte Banks, you selected him in round 1. You have Cordell Flott. You selected him in round 3. You got Wan'Dale Robinson. Selected him in round 2. And you select Jalen Hyatt in round 3. You traded up for him. What's a bigger need? Type CB or WR. Bigger need for this team. Gus Nini. What's up, bro? What player would make your jaw drop like you didn't expect the Giants to pick? It's a really good question. And at number 6, I don't really know if there's a player. Because, I've prepped myself for all quarterbacks. If it's Daniels, if it's May, if it's McCarthy. If it's a receiver, it's Neighbors, it's a Dunze, it's Marvin Harrison Jr. Maybe if it's like an offensive tackle not named Joe Alt, if it's Armarius Mims, I think is how you say his name, Fuanga. I think what would shock me is the Giants trading into round 1 again to get Michael Penix. That would shock me. Marvin Harrison Jr. would shock me because it would be just a shock reaction of, holy shit, we just got the best receiver in this class. But that's where I'm at. That's where I'm at on that. Well, we get to more questions in a second. I got to tell you guys about our proud sponsor, Prize Picks, the #1 daily fantasy sports app in the game. It's prizepicks.com/CLNS, promo code CLNS, and they'll match your first deposit up to $100. Check them out. Pick more. Pick less. All you do is create a lineup of 2 to 6 players, and you simply choose more or less on their projected stat line. Now's the time to play. They've already got some season-long football, NFL lineups that you could play, and the NBA playoffs are here, and it's time to get active. Check them out. PrizePicks.com/CLNS, promo code CLNS. It'll match your first deposit up to $100. Win big money. Withdraw your winnings. Daily fantasy sports made easy. Get hooked up with them. All that information will be clickable down in the comments and description of today's video. My guy Brian, what's up, family? Love this channel. Love the controversy and different, controversy and different opinions. I'm rolling with Jones. I don't think the mess ups from last year was the Jones we will get this year. Come back, Danny. I hope you're right. The best way for the Giants to be good is for Daniel Jones to be good. The best way and the easiest way is for him to be good. At this point, it's just my opinion versus your opinion. And I don't think my opinion's any better. I just don't believe in him. I don't. I close my eyes and I ask myself this. Do I see Daniel Jones on the podium with Roger Goodell being handed the Lombardi trophy with confetti falling on him? I don't see shit. He's not a Fetty guy, in my opinion. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm right. But that's the conclusion I've come with Daniel Jones. Not a Fetty guy. And I want a guy at the quarterback position that is a Fetty guy and a potential Hall of Famer. I'm just not sure that's him. Mark Anthony Osborne, what's up? Hey, brother. Shout out to Sketch. That guy's a go. My dream Giants draft scenario involves drafting Marvin Harrison at 6 and Michael Penix Jr. slipping in the Giants in the second round. I mean, shoot, if you can get Michael Penix Jr. at 47, you pull that trigger. Even if you got to trade up to the first pick in the second round to get Michael Penix Jr., I think I would do it. I've come to this conclusion when it comes to the quarterback position. If it's not Caleb Williams, if it's not Jane Daniels, if it's not Drake May, if it's not J.J. McCarthy or Michael Penix, keep him. I don't want him. Don't just draft a quarterback because you can say you drafted a quarterback. If it's not one of those 5 guys, go find players that can help your team win games this year. That's where I'm at on that. AJ's _RC. What's up? What % would you say we have to get MHJ? If he even is still available when we go to pick. By the way, I'm going to the draft party. Hope it's all booze like when we drafted Danny. Why would you want that? Why would you want to be in a crowd full of booze after you draft somebody? We have been messed up in the head as Giants fans. If I had to do percentiles here, I would go. Here we go. Give me 40% Malik Neighbors. 25% Marvin Harrison Jr. So you're up to 65%. And then 35% someone else. I feel like that's still a little high. Let me change it. 50% Marvin Harrison Jr., 30% MHJ, 20% quarterbacks. That's my percentile breakdown for you, AJ. 50 Neighbors, 30 Harrison Jr., 20% quarterback. That's where I am on that. Radcliffe, my man, $5 super chat. Thanks for supporting the channel and a first-time super chatter. We appreciate it. Is it concerning that May used to back up Hal at UNC? No. I mean, Caleb Williams used to back up Spencer Rattler. I mean, Sam Howell's been in the NFL for 2 years, right? That means Drake May would have had to beat him out as a freshman. I don't have any problem with that. No concern, Radcliffe. None. I think I'm higher than Drake May on others. I have him as QB2. I understand that he skipped some balls and he's got some things he needs to work on, but he's someone I'd love to have as my franchise QB. The Bobo. The special teams were awful last year. Couldn't even wear my kicker's jersey. I had to keep getting a new one every week. If this is the year we get our franchise kicker, brother. I don't know, brother. Special teams, special plays, special players. You guys are funny. Is this year we get our franchise kicker? No, brother. No, it's not. Make sure you are following me on social media and you are subscribed to the channel. Free, informative, entertaining updates every day on the New York Giants. I appreciate you, brothers. And let's go, Big Blue. Franchise kicker is hilarious. Franchise kicker is funny. Franchise kicker is funny. You guys got me there.
I actually think a franchise kicker cannot be drafted. I don't think if you draft a kicker, it's just too much pressure.
Unless it's Justin Tucker.
Yeah, but wait, was he drafted?
Yeah.
Oh, he was? Yeah. I got some news for Knicks fans. Team USA.
I do too.
You want to tell them?
Well, it's not official.
There's still one.
There's one spot. Tyrese Halliburton making Team USA over Jalen Brunson.
Drew Holiday? I get he's been there. He's been with them, but Jalen Brunson not making the Team USA roster.
I said this in my Knicks video today. You didn't produce it for me. Keep telling Jalen Brunson he can't do something.
Oh,
please. Keep putting the chips on the kid's shoulder. Keep telling him he can't do it.
second-round pick, too small.
The Knicks have the 13th best odds to win the NBA Finals. They have the 6th best odds to win the East. Keep telling Jalen Brunson he can't do it.
I bet you Philly and Miami will also be favored in that series.
Yeah, I think they will.
I think
Keep telling him he can't do it. What's up, Mark Anthony? I'm not a fan of J.J. McCarthy because he's always been surrounded by immense talent, starting from high school at IMG Academy and continuing at Michigan. The Giants don't have as much talent. Yeah, that's a concern. That's a concern for me. Yeah, I'm with you. But there's a lot of other things I really do like about him. But I'm not trying to convince anybody anymore on these players. We all are going to have our own opinions.
Everybody's already set.
Yeah, like no one's being swayed. I've showed every stat you imaginable. I don't love J.J. McCarthy, but I like him. I do like him. He's 21 years old. He's only going to get better. That's it. John Toddy, what are we trying to do with those QB smoke screens? Are we trying to force teams to trade up for QB so we can get MHJ? Yeah. You're trying to convince the Vikings. Yeah. You're trying to convince the Denver Broncos and the Las Vegas Raiders that if one of the top four quarterbacks are on the board, we're taking them at 6, which forces them to believe that if I want one of those top 4 guys, I got to trade up. Or maybe it's just not a smokescreen and they got a guy and Joe Schoen was just trying to find out who the leaks were from. Mr. Rick, they have been terrible. Terrible, Mr. Rick. Terrible. All righty. We are going to sign off on today's video. Shout out to everybody that tuned in. You guys are awesome. I love the back and forth. I love the not getting in our feelings because we disagree.
Yep.
I'm passionate. I'm going to have my takes, and I'm just sick of the BS in the chat at times, which I love and I appreciate. But if I set you straight, I'm sorry. But when I just start ignoring you as a whole, that's a bigger problem.
It's like when your coach isn't hard on you. I mean, he doesn't care.
What do you mean by hard on you?
Ooh, throwing shade actually had a good answer to that one question where it was like, what would be the jaw-dropping pick? Brock Bowers. That would be the one that I feel like would shock you. Like,
it would shock me, but I secretly really like him. I don't.
People are sleeping on him as a whole.
It wouldn't be shocked because he's a bad football player. It would be shocked because I didn't expect that from the Giants. To be honest with you, I would like to pick. But the only way I'm doing that is if Neighbors and Marvin Harrison Jr. is off the shit. Off the board. Rob Jigga, I appreciate you, brother. I appreciate you. Chat Sports, let's go.
Yes, baby.
Joey, no update on the tampering allegations. None yet. Ox, I did see that. What is he supposed to say? No, I don't think I'm the best quarterback on this team anymore. I don't take too much from it.
If he said no, everybody would be freaking out.
Yeah, I don't take anything from that. What Harbaugh did boosting JJ's draft stock was really smart. Do you mean by like what he said about him after the season, or like the way he used him?
Tell you what, the way he was using him during the season, he wasn't.
Yeah, so I don't necessarily agree. Do you mean like the way? I also don't think that any.
Also, I think Harbaugh, when he was saying, remember when he said a while ago, he was like, JJ's going to fly up draft boards, be a top pick. Like, I think he knew, like, once these NFL GMs and execs really dove into the film, got him in person, that he would end up being a top 5 pick.
How he talked highly of him? Yeah. But for me, if I'm Joe Schoen, if I'm any GM in the NFL, I'm not letting what Jim Harbaugh says. Like, I'm gonna do my own evaluation.
It's not like Joe Schoen's like, oh, Harbaugh.
We had McCarthy as QB8, but Harbaugh said this about him. Yep, up the board.
Yeah, I honestly think it was Harbaugh just talking good about a guy who won him a freaking natty.
Exactly, like, doing right by a kid that made you a legend.
Literally
made you a legend. They both made each other's legends. Ox asked if I could play right tackle. I'm about 220 pounds now. I don't think I could play right tackle. Then asked if I could play quarterback. I would need immediate shoulder surgery.
Hard over height, bro.
So no, probably not. Probably not. All right. We're out. We'll see y'all later. Let's go Big Blue.